Okay, the last two lobes that I will go over very quickly, and I promise this will be the last video. In the back of our head, back in the back where there's the protuberance back there, is the occipital lobe. The occipital lobe deals with vision. All right, there's the association area right here, and then what's called the primary visual cortex. This is where visual signals that come in through light that comes in through our eyes triggers a neural signal that travels contralaterally. It crosses over right here, what's called the optic chiasm, through the thalamus, and then is sent back to the visual cortex to be perceived. You can think occipital kind of sounds like optical. Occi is probably eye in Greek or Latin or something. But yeah, just remember with the occipital lobe, this is where we process vision. And then finally, the temporal lobes. Okay, the temporal lobes sit right above our ears. So you can kind of think, if you know where your temple is, okay, they sit right by your temples. Unsurprisingly, with the location of these, the temporal lobes deal with audition. The auditory cortex, which is right here, is where we process hearing. Hearing is actually, for the most part, not contralateralized. When we actually hear in both sides of our brain, but when we hear something in our right ear, it is processed first by the right side of the brain and then by the left side of the brain. There is an area in the temporal lobe that you will need to know that we'll talk more about next class. This is called Wernicke's area. It's right here on the back edge between the temporal, parietal, and occipital lobes. Wernicke's area is just like Broca's area, is in the left hemisphere and deals with the comprehension of language. So your ability to understand what I'm saying and your ability to, if I ask you a question, to be able to put together a meaningful response, so to understand language and to make language meaningful, that is in Wernicke's area. So the two language areas of the brain that you need to know are Wernicke's area right here, and then Broca's area, which is up in the frontal lobe connected to the motor cortex. And this is a flow chart right here of all the different parts of the cerebral cortex. You can see here how the different parts that are connected to one another. I will probably make you a copy of this and give that to you next class. All right, so that is it. Now all you got to do is answer the questions for the CYK 11 and 12. You got 2 attempts on it. You need to get at least an 80%. It's dealing with all of the parts of the brain that we have talked about. All right, have a good weekend.